Have you ever fallen in love with someone twice? After my divorce, I swore I'd never get married again. But life had other plans when I bumped into my high school sweetheart Nina at our local grocery store. I was picking out cereal with my 8-year-old daughter Annie when I heard someone call my name. I turned around and there she was, looking exactly like she did 15 years ago, down to the little dimple in her left cheek when she smiled. We caught up right there in the cereal aisle. She was divorced too, no kids. She'd moved back to town to take care of her sick mom. As we talked, Annie kept tugging at my sleeve, asking if we could get the sugary cereal I usually said no to. Nina laughed and said, "Some things never change. You were always the strict one." We exchanged numbers and started texting. Soon we were meeting for coffee, then dinner. It felt just like high school again, except now I had a daughter to consider. Annie took to Nina immediately, especially when Nina taught her how to make friendship bracelets, just like we used to make in school. Everything was perfect until my ex-wife Grace found out. She'd never been a great mom. She'd skip Annie's school events, forget parent-teacher conferences, and was always too busy for bedtime stories. But suddenly she wanted full custody. She claimed Nina was a bad influence because she'd found some old articles about Nina's divorce. Apparently, Nina's ex-husband had accused her of stealing money from their joint account. Grace threatened to use this in court unless I broke things off with Nina. I was devastated. The thought of losing Annie destroyed me. When I confronted Nina about the accusations, she broke down and explained everything. Her ex had been gambling away their savings, and she'd moved money to a separate account to protect it. She had bank statements proving everything, but Grace wouldn't listen. She hired an expensive lawyer and started filling Annie's head with lies about Nina. Annie came home one weekend saying she didn't want to see Nina anymore because Mommy says she's a bad person. I was about to give up when Annie's teacher called me. She was worried because Annie had started lying at school, claiming she couldn't do homework because Daddy doesn't let me, or saying she couldn't participate in PE because Daddy says sports are dangerous. It was exactly what Grace used to do, manipulate people with lies. That's when I realized I couldn't let Grace win. Not this time. I gathered all the evidence of Grace's neglect. Missed doctor's appointments, ignored school events, even text messages where she'd blown off Annie's birthday because she was too hungover. I also got statements from Nina's bank proving she'd protected their money from her gambling ex-husband. The final nail in the coffin was when Grace's own sister agreed to testify about Grace's drinking problem. The custody battle was brutal. Grace threw everything she had at us, even claiming Nina had tried to bribe Annie with candy and toys. But the judge saw through it all. When he read the text messages where Grace had missed Annie's birthday, his face turned stone cold. I not only kept custody, but Grace's visitation was reduced to supervised visits only. She was furious. The day after the ruling, she showed up at my house drunk, screaming that I'd ruined her life. Annie watched from her bedroom window, crying. Nina handled it beautifully. She sat with Annie, explaining that sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, and that it's okay to still love your mom even when she messes up. That night, Annie asked if Nina could read her bedtime story, something she'd never asked Grace to do. 6 months later, I proposed to Nina in that same cereal aisle where we'd reunited. Annie helped me plan it all. She even made Nina another friendship bracelet to match the one from when they first met. Grace eventually got help for her drinking and started actually showing up for Annie. She even apologized to Nina at Annie's school play, admitting she'd been wrong about everything.